Karen demanded a VIP table, claiming she knew the owner, but I own the restaurant, and I made sure she ended up with a $4,000 bill as my revenge. It all started when Karen stormed into the restaurant, shouting that she knew the owner and demanding the VIP table reserved for celebrities. The problem? I owned the restaurant, and I had no idea who she was, but I decided to play along and see what would happen. During dinner, one of her friends asked if I thought my life was worthless because I worked as a waiter. That's when I knew I was going to get back at them. This happened during the busy holiday season. My grandparents opened the restaurant when they moved to Canada in the 1970s. After they passed, my parents took over, and when they retired a few years ago, they sold it to me. I've been working here since I was 15. When I took over, I made a lot of changes to the restaurant, hoping to turn things around. At first, it was hard, and I worried I made a mistake. But soon, we started getting more customers, including some celebrities, and business took off. Now, the restaurant is popular, especially during the holidays, and people even book tables months in advance. On busy nights, I don't just stay in the back office. I'm out on the floor, helping wherever I'm needed, even greeting customers or cleaning up. When celebrities visit, I put on a jacket and take charge. One evening, 6 women walked in. 5 were in their early 20s, and the leader, who seemed to be in her mid-20s, acted like the boss. She was bragging about the restaurant and how famous people might be there. When she came up to me, she demanded a table for 6. Sure, I said. What's the name on the reservation? She stared at me and said, "Oh, I didn't make a reservation, but it's fine. I know the owner. He always keeps tables open for special guests, and we'll take one of those tonight." That was a lie. I'd never met her, and we didn't have any special arrangement. I knew she was trying to bluff her way in without a reservation, but I wasn't going to let her get away with it. "I'm sorry, but we can't see anyone without a reservation," I said politely. "We're fully booked." I didn't want to embarrass her by revealing I was the owner, so I tried to keep it cool, but she didn't give up. She told one of her friends to take a picture of me and said she'd talk to the owner to get me fired. Her friends joined in, saying things like, "You're about to lose your job." Then she said, "You can either give us a table, or I'll make your life miserable. You don't matter here, or you'd know who I am." At that moment, I had 3 choices: tell her I was the owner, give her a table and let it go, or teach her a lesson. I chose the third option. I smiled and said, "Of course, ma'am, follow me." I led them to one of the VIP tables. "I'm sorry for the mix-up," I said. "You're right. It would be easier to give you the table." I told her the first 3 rounds of drinks were on the house. I took their credit card and IDs, explaining we keep them on file for VIPs. Karen handed me her card and said, "Tonight is on me." They quickly ordered 3 rounds of drinks, even before their appetizers came. By the time the food arrived, they were tipsy from drinking on empty stomachs. They kept ordering more drinks, unaware that each one was adding to their bill. What they didn't know was that the VIP table they were sitting at usually costs thousands just to reserve. I didn't charge them for the table, but the drinks they ordered were expensive. The menu at the VIP table didn't show prices, so they ended up ordering some of our priciest dishes, like white truffle, black caviar, and special oysters. As I served their food, I kept smiling, all while their bill kept growing. By the end of the night, they were still unaware of the huge total, and when it was time to pay, one of the girls asked me if I thought my life was worthless because all I did was work as a waiter. Later, one of the staff told me they overheard the girls talking about how they could mess with me, thinking they could always get a table here. I also heard one of them say, "He's cute, but I wouldn't date a waiter like him, he's such a pushover." They kept making rude comments like that throughout the night. So, I decided to teach them a lesson. By the end of the night, each of them had built up a bill of around $500 to $600. When I handed Queen Karen the bill, it came to $4,423.23, including tax and tip. She went from laughing with her friends to looking like she was about to cry. She called me over and asked if it was a joke. I took the bill, looked it over, and apologized, saying, "I'll get you the correct amount." She seemed relieved, thinking she had been given someone else's bill, and called me an effing idiot before continuing her conversation. But when I came back with the same bill, she lost it. I asked calmly, "Is there something on this bill you didn't order?" She and her friends went through the bill, even checking the complimentary drinks, and started to get nervous as they realized how much they owed. Finally, Queen Karen said, "I need to use the restroom." Part of me worried she might try to leave without paying, but I reminded her that we had her ID and credit card. 10 minutes later, she came back, her makeup fixed after clearly crying, and started complaining. She said the food and drinks were bad and asked if I could cut the bill in half. She even asked her friends to chip in, even though she'd said the night was on her. Then she tried again, saying she had a relationship with the owner, thinking that would make me lower the bill. I just smiled and told her, "No, I can't change the bill." She showed me a series of text messages from a contact named after my restaurant, with the word owner in it. I realized what she had done. She probably changed a friend's contact name in the restroom to try to bluff me. I checked the messages, clicked on the contact, and said, "That's not the owner's number." She stammered, saying, "He has multiple phones for business. Obviously, you don't know all his numbers." I said, "How about this? If we call him right now and he says it's okay to give you a 50% discount, I'll do it." She started yelling, which got the attention of other customers. I knew it was time to end it. I told her firmly, "Cut the crap. You don't know the owner. You've never been here before, and if you keep yelling, I'll call the cops." She froze, trying to explain herself, but I continued. "My grandfather started this restaurant. My family has run it for generations. I'm the owner, and I've never seen you before." Her friends were silent, and Karen was crying. I said, "I gave you the VIP table you wanted and didn't charge you for it. I also gave you 3 free rounds of drinks. If you don't pay, I'll call the cops." Karen signed the bill through her tears. Her friends pulled out what little cash they had to help, promising to pay her back later. 2 days later, an angry man came to the restaurant, asking to talk to me. I was in the back office, so he had to wait for about half an hour. Karen was with him, head down. I took them to my office and showed him the footage from our security cameras, where the audio was clear since it was the VIP area. I showed him everything, their rude comments, orders, and behavior. When it was over, he stormed out, yelling at her the whole way. I haven't seen or heard from any of them since. By the way, I didn't lose much money on the VIP table or the free drinks because that table was going to be empty that night. In fact, their food and other drinks more than covered the cost. Now, I have that original bill, minus the $120 oysters, framed on my desk as a reminder. This story shows how entitled and disrespectful behavior can backfire. If you were in my position, how would you have handled it?